text like we ain't fucking tomorrow. Hey, you.
One, two. Welcome back. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. This is Edge to Otaku, part of Edge 2 Gaming, the network where you can find any and everything. What was it? Any and everything anime. There was something. I was in the shower, and I was like, Edge to Otaku. Edge to Otaku, and I thought of a funny little tagline. I can't think of it now. But this is your place, especially on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays primarily, or at least on Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays. We get the official Viz Media Shonen Jump release of One Piece, also brief spoilers, and on Thursday, TCBs typically come out. Tuesday, Wednesday, that's when the full summary spoilers come out. That's why I say typically Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. Those are more reliable dates. That's when you can join me here, Edge to Otaku on YouTube, Edge 2 Gaming on Twitch, and Kick to get all of the One Piece content that you need. Now, we're starting a little bit late. I was supposed to be on the pod OKC. They did a podcast today primarily about Dragon Ball Super. That's what the show notes were about. The new series, the new 2 series, and the new video game. And also there was a topic about, is anime filler really needed? I didn't get to do that because the internet was down. That's also the reason I didn't get to record. And there is a shit ton for us to record and catch up on this week. So tomorrow, Anime Marathon Monday is going to be extended. And we're going to have several of those. So at 3 a.m. this morning, I will start. And we'll cover the series that we missed this week, which will be Sentenced to be a Hero episode 4, Standby, Mirrored Fortress, I do believe. Episode 4 or 16 in Trigun, because Trigun Stargaze is the second season of Trigun Stampede, but they're treating it like a continuation. So when you look at the episode numbers, it is episode 16, but it's episode 4 of season 2. That is titled From Chaos to Order. We'll also watch Frieren episode 3, which is titled Somewhere She'd Like, and then Yori Shinden Samurai Troopers, which is titled Combat. We'll start those at 3 a.m. Then at noon, as normal, on Mondays, we'll watch Kick Kill Hitman Reborn for 10 episodes 11:12 to 11:22, to get through some of season 5 for the future arc I am fucking stoked for. But we're not talking about that. This is your place for One Piece content. This is your place where you can get credible One Piece manga and anime information, and I also try to add a little bit of flair because I do follow some native Japanese speakers. I hope that everybody would go to Don and Dust channel and follow all of his channels, because he creates a lot of content really breaking down the subtle nuances of One Piece that you cannot get just from an English translator. There are 3 different writing systems that are used, as well as the specific type of humor that Oda has when he uses puns. Is very hard to break down and understand everything if you're not a native speaker. So I listen to that before we come here, but I did miss the 6 p.m. showtime. So we're here now at 10:20. Let's go ahead and try to get through this chapter. Thank you everybody for joining. We are live on YouTube at Edge2 Otaku. If you're not following Edge2 Otaku, go and follow now. If we get up to 50 followers, that allows me to watch and do many more watch parties with you on the Patreon page, because I'm up to 70 titles right now of anime you guys want me to watch, and things that I found throughout looking for these other titles to make sure we can watch them. So it is going to be fucking amazing. But let's dive into this chapter. This is chapter 1172. Now, this is your 4th video from me covering this. We did the brief spoilers, we did the full spoilers, then we did the TCB scans. Now I want to see what is difference between the TCB scans and what we're getting this chapter. This is called, instead of the Elbaph I Adore, the Elbaph I Dreamed of, chapter 1172. And we see Bon Clay-chan. Reader request, swans helping themselves to Bon Clay's makeup by Pizamaru. And I'm reading, well, not even reading, I'm not even at Alabasta yet. I'm still early on. I think we just got done with Buggy, where I went back to read at. But what I'm watching, we're at Alabasta. We just got done the title cards, the tags. I saw, if you were here and watched the stream with me the other day, you saw that I talked about Usopp and Chopper. Him getting hit in the face by Mr. Four and being drugged by Miss Merry Christmas was brutal for Usopp to be a fucking human, and to have that conversation afterwards with Nami, like, we're just normal humans, Usopp. What can we do? Yo, saw that. Sanji cleaned up Bon Clay, which was a great fight. Nami coming through, actually using her party trick, climactic, to actually win. And Zoro just learned how to cut steel. So now we're at Luffy versus Crocodile Part 2. Nico Robin just took Cobra away to try to find, oh no, actually we're there. We saw the poneglyph, and Nico Robin lied and read the poneglyph to Crocodile, and then he stabbed her, and now Luffy is coming to beat his ass, punching him not only with water, with moisture, not water, but blood. So now we're here at 1172. I love this fucking series so much. I'm going to continue to rewatch it as many times as I fucking want. This remake by Wit Studio, quit whitewashing shit. Do not pander to a Western demographic that is based off racist bullshit. Just make the characters how they're supposed to. And I hope that Dragon Ball follows suit, Dragon Ball Super, with the with the remake of the entirety of the series. And they really are true to the manga. And they're trying to say as much as possible they will be. I want them to be 100% true to what Toriyama wrote and what Toyotaro has been writing. So that being said, we dive into, and you guys should be able to see this on the screen. Yes, let's zoom in. We're on the Sval, coming up the lift from the underworld, past a big-ass Yggdrasil tree up to the sun world, and Scopper Gaban is talking to everybody on the Sval. So we saw Sanji skywalk, Chopper Gaban and Chopper up to the lift where Zoro and the new giant pirates are. So Scopper holding up 3 fingers, telling them, like, our foes' numbers are 3, and their mission is to kidnap 10 giant children. And we hear screech, screech as the lift is going up. Then, and I thought this was Harald holding Scopper and Chopper, but it's actually Gerd. Scopper continues, they mean to take the children to the Holy Land and use them as hostages to coerce the warriors of Elbaph to be their battle slaves, being their battle slaves. How can a mere trio of humans run rampant over both the giant pirates and Mr. Ya, says Harun. And then Gerd is standing there, kind of curious herself, and Mr. Ya himself, Scopper Gaban, says, I'm sorry I failed you, plain and simple. That's all he can do. He had to look out for Colin. Ripley asked him to protect their son. His son is his treasure, his priority. This is speaking back to what Monkey D. Dragon said. Children are the downfall of their parents when they have a duty to fulfill, but there's nothing more meaningful than a child to their parent. Sanji goes, you say children, but these are giants, right? How are 3 humans our size going to carry these giants away, or carry these giant kids? And then we see Scopper jump back in as he breaks down and gives us the play-by-play with our 3 humans that have taken these kids. He says the woman of the trio has a strange power using arrows. It seems that wherever these arrows point, the children are helpless to resist them. Then we see But the kids are still making their way down to the harbor, and we actually get to see their plan, because last time they showed this, it was a far off picture in the distance of the ocean and where the kids were headed. He continues, they are walking carelessly towards the port in the western village. If they get to the boat, they can lose us at sea, and then it's all over. And his son Colin's at the head of this group. He says that's the true end point of the situation. So the kids being taken from Elbaph is the loss, the L for all of Elbaph. Then we see Rodo and the new giant pirates talking, and Rode goes, "But if that's all, then why can we not simply take back the children?" And Scopper continues, "One of the three is a man named Sommers. I know him, unfortunately. A man with powers of the thorn fruit. As a thorn man, he makes free use of vicious spiky vines. He can make them invisible too, and has wrapped them around the children." And then Gerd says, "And that means we can't pick them up. How sadistic." Scopper continues, "Aye, and they're as hard as steel." So this is the first time we got confirmation. And we don't know if this is the infusion of his hockey or just his devil fruit, but they are hard as steel. It's hard for you to cut, to break, and to try to manipulate. So this is, again, where Conqueror's hockey is going to come into play to save the children and to protect Elbaph. Scopper continues, "If we interfere with the line of children, they'll bump into each other." And we see that the children are stabbing each other. And he continues, "and harm one another like hedgehogs. On top of that, the final member of the trio is most likely manifesting nightmares as real creatures. The children's greatest fears have come to life to prevent any attempt to save them." And I guess he knows that Fenrir is Colin's fear, and he probably saw it on the way here when the Eric got fucked up. Then we see Hydruden talking again. Hydruden says, "The irony is the children are simply walking in a line in broad daylight, but we're unable to do anything to help them. And all due to the game created by thee." And this is what Shamrock said when he left back to Mary Joy. He said, "Make a game out of it. All due to the game created by three powers working together." And then, "Not so, we will save them." Then we see as they continue to go up, seems quicker to aim for the three causing all the problems. And then we see Goldberg say, "You say," oh yeah, I forgot he's got a lisp. "You say they're immortal, but there's has to be a way to stop them, like trapping them in something or crushing them or eating them." "Ha ha ha, yes, I agree to that," says Scopper. "We're nearly up to the sun world." And then we see Goldberg standing there. Yeah, I gotta make sure this motherfucker's name is Goldberg, because now I'm like remembering reading the full spoiler, or the TCV scans. They had two Stansons and Strunsons. We see the the lift come up, clunk, it's there, and Hydruden is just in awe, looking straight up into the air, the same as Goldberg. And then in this double spread panel, we see all of the MMAs running around, and one specifically is Nidhogg, big as fuck. And we see the new giant pirates just standing there, all looking up in awe. And Hydruden stares at Nidhogg as it's heading towards where they are. It should be heading towards the trunk of the Yggdrasil tree, I think, like towards the left. And we'll see in the map here in a minute. Then we see, "It's beyond anything I imagined," we hear. "Is there no limit to these nightmare monsters?" And then someone says, "Look over there. Is that the Great Eric?" And we do see that the Great Eric has been fucked up and is burnt in the middle of all of this. Now, what we see on this screen, we see a Droog, a couple of Flaming Knights, Fenrir, Nidhogg, Cyclops, flying shit, some lion, see Nika, and just a whole bunch of shit repeated. But we also see the Great Eric. Then when we go back up here, it says, "Dorian Brogy's crew was on board," says Scopper, "but these monsters downed the ship as they fought." "Unthinkable," says Hydruden. And then we see Kashi. "Is that Hydruden?" "Kashi, you're alive," he says. "We've been down in the underworld. Tell us what's happening." Kashi says, "It's hard to believe, but I'll try to explain." And I want to go back to Endless Lobby. Did Kashi get fucked up first? I think Oimo and Kashi both got fucked up, but was he the one that got fucked up first? Then we see a fucking giant-sized demon Domi-Reversed Dorian Brogy with other giants running, fleeing, trying to defend. Say, Captains Dory and Brogy are going to kill the chief. You have to stop them. Everyone's going completely mad. Then we see Gerd on her knees, still holding Gaban and Chopper right in front of Kashi's face. And then she goes, "What about the children, Kashi?" And then Kashi goes, "Ripley's got a group chasing after them, but we haven't had any word about success or not. They should have reached the port by now." And then Kashi turns to Roto. He says, "Oh, and you, Roto." And then Roto says, "What about me?" "Bjorn's there. I've got to go. My brother is one of the hostages." So Rode takes off to join Ripley and the rest that are saving the kids. And then we see Gerd and Goldberg say, "I'll go with him." "Yeah, me too." We see Sanji say, "Hey, Kashi, which way is the school?" Apparently Nami's group is nearby. And then Kashi turns and he says, "You see that fire? That's the school and library burning. Why are they on fire?" And then we see a close-up of Zoro, and Zoro says, "You say that Dory and Brogy have gone mad?" And they're like, "That's right." So we know where our groups are headed at the moment. Dory and Brogy are going to West Village. And here's our map right here. So when we saw Nidhogg, from where the group is coming up, and yes, confirmation name is Goldberg. Got that shit right. That means Nidhogg was heading towards the school and the library. Dory and Brogy are heading towards West Village. Ripley and them are heading towards the kids, along with... So we're gonna figure this all out. So Kashi goes, "Please, you must hurry. Chief Jarul's life is in danger." And then we look at this fucking map. Right next to the Yggdrasil tree, we have Gaban, Tony Chopper, Sanji, Zoro, Goldberg, Gerd, Harun, Stanson, and Roto. Roto, Gerd, and Goldberg ran towards the port, which the children are on the middle of branch route 8, heading to the port. They're going that way. Sanji, who... I don't know who the fuck he's going with, but Sanji is going where Nidhogg's going, where the school and library are, towards the branch, and Saul as well. So he's going to meet up with the other Straw Hats. It's fine if he goes by himself, because we'll have Jinbei, Nami, Usopp, Brooke, Robin, and Nico Robin, plus Saul, and the Walrus and that shit there. Then I'm guessing that Stanson, Hydruden, and Zoro, they're headed to West Village. So that means Loki and Luffy are going to come up. Where would they go? It depends on what we get done first and what we don't get done. But we see everything here on the map. And then let's continue. The Walrus School and Owl Library. We see all the giants on the ground, knocked out, fucked up. Everything's burning. And then it says, "By the library, the Straw Hat crew." And then it says, "The library is burning," which we know this is a place that Robin was so happy to find, because it was the books from O'Hara, and now they're being burnt again. She's being put into a trigger mode, getting ready to panic. She tried to kill Sommers to save everybody. We see Nami struggling. Said, "They're taking the children. Get the arrows off me." And then Jinbei says, "Chopper's still not back." And Brooke got some kind of idea in his head and ran off. And then Usopp says, "Damn it, I never wanted to see Master Dory and Master Brogy like that." And then here they are getting ready to execute some more giants. Says, "Kill Jarul," Brogy says. And then they say, "Captains, please stop. Come back to your senses." Under the power of Domi-Reversed, the giant pirates head towards West Village. Now, let me zoom out for a minute. Every place in the map, there is a little piece of like an arrow or sliver. So we do see this group heading straight towards the port, and it shows Ripley, Kashi. This is the rescue team. "We're coming for you, kids. Get the monsters out of the way." Then there's another one that shows the kids down towards the port. The hostage children say, "We're going to be at the port soon." And then Colin says, "Don't whine. You're warriors of Elbaph." And then someone says, "But we're not warriors." And then where we saw Dory and Brogy, that shows us exactly where they are, heading towards the West Village. We also saw where the Straw Hats were and where people were on at the werewolf school and the library. Let's see. Oh, so the Western Village. "No, you should flee if you wish," says Chief Jarul. They say, "It's time to flee, Chief Jarul. There's no reasoning with Captain Dory and Captain Broggy right now. And then Jarul says, I will stay. I have something to say to Elbaph. And this is where we get our epic fucking speech. He gets on the Din Din Mushi and says, hear me, Elbaph. I wish to tell you everything before I die. And they're like, is that Chief Jarul? He stands there waiting as the other giants are panicked, waiting for Dory and Broggy to come fuck him up. And he's like, our old liege, wise King Harald, wished to bring Elbaph into the world government so that we might coexist with the rest of the world. And then Gimu standing there just listening. A picture of Ahur's castle. He says, but on that fateful day 14 years ago, and then we see another giant say, Chief Jarul, as they're fighting off the MMAs, and Jarul says he was betrayed and denied his wish. One of the transformed Domi-Reversed Giants is coming down on the town, trying to strike down 2 more giants, and Jarul says, I witnessed a demon slaughter Harald and the rest of his soldiers. Harald resisted bending the knee and handing over Elbaph to that demon. He fought and died. And then the 2 giants like, what? I thought Elbaph killed the king. He continues, but if the people learned the truth, they would rise up in vengeance and become the warfaring nation that Harald did not desire. So I held my silence. As we see more giants fighting MMAs, more giants trying to protect the town, more giants in disbelief, he continues, Loki, meaning well before, bore the rage of the nation upon his back and took to the sea. He may be a tactless man, but Loki is innocent. And then Zoro goes a bit inaccurate, but a nice turn of phrase. And then Harun says, nicer than he deserves. And all the giants are in disbelief, saying, what? Loki is not the motherfucker we thought he was? Even though he did all this shit, he's still an asshole, but there's a lot of reasons why. Then we see the three humans, as Sommers, or as Skopagaban describes Sommers and Killingham and Gunko, but these are the 3 Knights of God. And remember, Gunko has been taken over by Imu herself. We see Saint Killingham as Chief Jarul continues. But today it seems that though they had given up initially, they once again require our massive power. I don't know why the fuck Gimu. I thought Gimu was wearing pants before. Now she got like thongs up her coochie and shit. This is some weird fucking shit, Oda. But the wings are a nice touch. And the trident. Jarul continues, and thus 3 demons have come back in an attempt to take over our country. And Sommers is sitting there with his legs crossed. He said, yawn, I could take a nap and still complete the mission at this point. Then we see the Walrus School and the library being burned. It says, listen up, you devils. If you spare the children's lives, we will freely give up our culture and history. And then we see a close-up of Ange and his great-great-granddaughter's great-great-granddaughter's granddaughter. But if you think you've broken our spirit, you are sorely mistaken. Do not expect Harald's patience from us. And we see giants laying on the floor, trying to move, trying to get up. And then a close-up of Gimu's face. And Jarul says, you think you can rule over us and enslave us? Who do you think you're talking to? And then the kids look, and as he says, I'm sorry, children. I must ask you to cover your ears now. And then Usopp is just geeking out. He says, that's right, Jarul. You tell him the Elbaph I dreamed of doesn't bow to anyone. And then we see a panned out picture of Elbaph, the underworld, the sunworld, the heaven realm. And Jarul says, if the world is denied or destined to be split into 2, as the Harley's prophecy suggests, then Elbaph shall be an enemy to the world government. And then he continues, Gimu just still flying in the air, just speechless. Did you think that thorns, reversey, and illusions would cause us to submit to your yoke? And then Zoro goes, I like that old man. And then Harun says, 3 centuries ago, he was the strongest man on the sea. Then we see the giants of Elbaph raising their weapons in the air, renewing their spirit, their energy, as Zoro says, we will never give in to your rule. Am I wrong? All you proud warriors of Elbaph? And they say, you're damn right, Chief Jarul. And then, just like I did a minute ago, Usopp's tongue is hanging out of his mouth. He's got hard eyes shooting out of his head. He says, the Elbaph I love is back. And then we see Nami pissed the fuck off, says, fine, just think of a way to undo these arrows. And then we see giants rearing behind Chief Jarul as he pulls out his sword, getting ready to attack Dory and Broggy as they come to try to kill him. He says, protect the peace that Harald envisioned. Rah! And then we see them standing off, and Haruden, Stanson, and Zoro have arrived. And then Haruden says, "We've caught up." And Stanson goes, "Watch out, that watch out that they don't trap you between them." And then Zoro goes, "I've got a plan," as he unsheathes Enma from the sheath. And just watching, a lot of his plans didn't work out too well. And I don't want to go all the way back to Alabasta, but rewatching this, like, he did have a very good plan. And when it comes to games, he is very good at adjusting, because not only that, but long ring, long land, Zoro was able to adjust with Sanji, someone he does not like to win the game. I think that if he is thinking about reversey, I think if you take all four corners, you can change the field, but I'm not sure. I looked it up. It's not a game that I played in a long fucking time. I mean, like, I was little last time I did anything with it. So I think that's true, but maybe he does have an actual plan. If not, people are speculating and, you know, just shooting shit at Zoro. I'll be like, oh, Zoro's just gonna, cut it harder, cut through it, do this, destroy it. I'm like, yes, he very well could. Maybe that is the answer. Maybe he is going to focus and really, and not instinctively, but what's the word? Deliberately use his haki, his Conqueror's haki, and improve its level so that way he can help Luffy and Loki as they try to take on Gimu, St. Sommers, and Killingham. Other than that, this was a great fucking chapter. Not only did, and I just keep saying this, we got our backlog. Scopper was telling everybody about everything, about the kids, about the Knights of God, what's going on. We got to see where everybody is. I like seeing where everybody's going, so over the next couple of chapters we can tell where they're moving, and everything is really happening only on branch route 8 of the Yggdrasil tree. We still don't know what's happening in the Sun Realm, and we don't know who else may be coming, if anybody, and what else will go on. But really getting everybody the Conqueror's haki and trying to get them together, getting the Straw Hats free is a big point. Stopping the monsters, the nightmare monsters, that's another big point. Stopping the kids, removing the thorns, that means Sommers has to get taken care of. And Scopper did cut him in half, but that didn't last too long, so it's got to be somebody else. Gimu, doing the Domi-Reversed, I think is going to be stopped by Brook and allowed that bond to sever, so that way they can get Dory and Brogy back. Now, is Brogy going to have his hand? I don't know. I think his hand is gone forever now, which is crazy because he's had it over 100 years, 102 years now at this point. So I'm excited to see what else goes on. Usopp isn't really doing anything. I want to see if it is the ice from the realm of the dead that Brook gets, that it allowed him to escape, or if it was just him moving his bones around. And then what can he do to help the other ones? Maybe Jinbei infuses haki, and then Nami by Jinbei has been said to have haki. Is that true? I don't know. I don't think so. But, well, no, because Zeus does, and Zeus is a S+ homie, and Nami just shot off that fucking lightning cloud shark, so maybe. And then Nico Robin. So the only one that needs it is Usopp, and Elbaph is the place that he wanted to go to prove himself and be a warrior of the sea. So that might be our last motherfucker, because Chopper went down and heard the whole story. We really haven't seen that much from Chopper. He took on Queen, did the slam, really cured and made the vaccine, did a Sulong deal for Beppo. He's got creds as a doctor, as a scientist, but fighting, I want to see that haki come through any of his other forms, because he's done a lot. Chopper has done. He started with his base 7 forms and adding 1, 2, 3 new ones, along with being able to control this monster point. I need to see haki from Chopper. And he's a doctor. You know, Chopper has the feats. We also need to figure out where Frankie is. There is no break this week, so starting tomorrow, we should have brief spoilers. If not, then Tuesday, and we'll follow suit the rest of this week. Remember, like I said at the beginning of this, Anime Marathon Monday is tomorrow at noon to 4:30 is Keikyo Hitman Reborn. But after that, or I guess before that, 3 a.m. is I'm going to hit you guys with the shows that we've missed this week. Sins to be a Hero, Frieren, Journey Beyond End, Uri Shinden Samurai Troopers, and Trigun Stargaze to start off the evening. Thank you guys for joining me. Please, 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 because I'm about to do it too, go to the pod OKC, check out the stream on the Kick channel, and we will have that published for you guys later. I will talk more about Dragon Ball Super as I play, yes, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot Daima. For the PS4 version, I think I'm at the Daima 2 area, but on the PS5 version, better resolution, better quality, we are still in Daima 1, so we're going to finish that story before we get to Daima 2 to see SS 1, 2, and 3 Vegeta and SS4 Goku. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys jumping in for the show and listening. Make sure in the comments, because this is your place for One Piece theories, comments, reviews, reactions, all kinds of shit. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about this chapter. Let me know what you think is coming up, what the next thing is, who's getting Haki, who's not, and also look up for poll votes. We used to have these on the old YouTube channel before it got fucking taken down. Those are coming back, and in the Discord. You can find the Discord at twitch.tv/Edge2Gaming. Click, and this is under Voice of All Things Live every Sunday. Thank you guys so much. I'm Elijah 5000, Edge2 Gaming and Edge2 Otaku. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Music from Rifty Beats. Enjoy it, like it, follow it. See ya, bitches.